All right. Well, a number of you have asked how the cover art for the latest single. I got to be a bit quiet because our daughter's snoozing next door. The latest single from our virtual psychedelic rock group Nabucco Dinosaur, entitled "Fire the Chief," was created. So, well, maybe not everyone, but a couple. So I think what we'll do is we'll turn around the camera and see how this came together. It's not really a tutorial, but you might get some ideas. It's more of a documentation of the process of all the steps, required in arriving at the final piece. Okay, so here, as you can see, is the first image resource that I used to create a pencil drawing. And you can see how that worked out. Now, it's a little bit taller, the drawing, than the photo. It's probably because I drew it like that at an angle. Anyhow, and then for the hair, you see it's flames. And for that, I used a different photo resource. This one right here. And I took a bit of liberty with the dimensions and all, which is a normal thing to do. And what's next? So, scanned in the first image. It's upside down, but you can understand what's going on. And here's the last bit of the flame. Then you can see here I'm beginning to color in the image. So I'm using a stylus. This thing right here. What is that? A little worse for the wear, but it still works. And so that's my first step. And then I save every step, just so I can always go back. Another picture of fire. Here we are. Now you can still see there are pencil marks from the scan, still in the image. I decided it'd look better. Oops. These are the fonts that I used. I just collected a bunch of fonts. Anyhow, and started to do some compositions because I knew that I wanted the typesetting, the type design to fit in the hair shape for the final result. Final results right here. So you can see I knew that I wanted to fit that in there. And this is the last composition. That's an intermediate composition. And this is the Illustrator file, which shows all of the layers superimposed on each other. So you can see I chose different fonts, and what I ended up doing was mixing and matching the letter forms. So this is one font, this is another, this is another. And then I chose my favorite shapes to create the this composition. You see how the E's are different, the I's are different. So I did that, and then the next step was I actually photographed this composition because I wanted it to be sort of fiery with a wavy sort of form, and so I photographed it further to warp the image even further. So I tried a bunch of different angles and so forth, and then coming up is I took the typography and just maxed out the exposure, and then with that what I can do is I can oh, the cat. What I can do with that is just a second. So anyhow, max it out, and then what I can do is I can select all of the black and then place that into the composition. And maybe here's some more photos, intermediate photos, and right here, so the fire is there. And then there's still pencil marks there, so I decided to take them out to make it look more fiery. Now here it is with, here it is without. Oh, I was going to use this to balance the composition, but I decided not to. I was going to change the words, maybe turn it upside down. Decided not to use that. Oh, and here's some crumpled paper texture, which I scanned. And this was to make the typography that's used for our logo. It's hard to see here. To give it a bit of texture. But over here, so here's the logo, and see how it's all super sharp and nice. This was a logo created for our group a long time ago. I can't remember which song we first used this form on, but it was sort of evolved a little bit. So anyway, I got that, and then I printed it out and crumpled up the paper. But see, you see this way, the letter forms get a little bit bent, a little bit deformed, and that was the aim here, so that not everything was, see the U, so that not everything was perfect and computery, giving it a little bit of an organic touch as well. So here we go, and you can see down there I used also the paper texture. It's hard to tell anyway. I used also the paper texture to add even some more deformation. Makes it look a bit used, makes it look a bit worn, just to give it some more interest, texture. And here playing with the type, trying to get it the perfect balance of subtle yet readable. And here's the inky background. These are some ink paintings I did a while back, and these I used for the texture of the American flag, which occurs in the background there. You see, everything that was white was one field of ink, and everything that was colored, such as the blue and the red, were a different field. So I've got this first one, and I've got this one, and you know, they're pretty abstract, random ink blotches. And here's American flag. It's actually a photo of a flag that I used, so that this wasn't perfectly straight either. This wasn't perfectly square. And then I used this in the background, so like cutting out one ink background is going to be all the white, and another ink background is going to be the red and the black. And so you can see it a little bit here when they're superimposed on each other, how it works out. You see the stripes. You can see me in there too. Hello. And the stars. And then that was the final touch, which was the background. I had it all black to begin with, but it just wasn't very interesting. And here on the typography that we use for the title, I further warped this using Photoshop, using the warp tool to try to get maximum deformation there. And the idea is that it's supposed to be flame-like, it's supposed to be smoky or wispy. So that's it. That's how it's done. It's a combination of digital and physical techniques. So if you're curious to actually hear the song that this was all done for, you can go over to SoundCloud and type in Nabucco Dinosaur. It's written like that, Nabucco. So an easy way to remember that would be like nab, like grab, nab, and then UC, like University of Colorado maybe. University of California, and then company afterwards, and then dinosaur as it's spelled in English. And if you type this into your favorite search engine, it should come up first thing. All right, enjoy.